Good afternoon. Welcome to the class once again. Let's continue with our revision topics. Okay, we're seeing which topic, Reina?
Computer fundamental.
Computer fundamentals. Those who joined late. Sharath and who else? Hannah, you were not there in the previous class, right? Oh, you were there. Okay. So Sharath, the slides will be displayed on the screen and the students will be reading it, and you have to study that time itself. I will ask questions. Okay, start. This is another slide. So I thought I will show you this because it's a bit colorful and some pictures are there. Computer. So we have seen the different parts of computer. That is over. Now let's see the generations of computer, how the computer is evolved. Okay. So Sharath, we can start reading that. Sharath, you can read.
Evolution of computing device. First generation 1940 to 1956. The first generation computers used vacuum tubes and machine language was used for giving the instructions. These computers were large in size. Their programming was difficult task. The electricity consumption was very high. Some computers of this generation was RENIAC, EDVAC, EDSAC, and UNIVAC1.
It is
In this
ENIAC,
generation,
EDVAC, EDSAC, and UNIVAC 1.
yes, ma'am.
Okay,
In
continue.
this generation, mainly batch processing operating system was used. Punch cards, paper tape, and magnetic tape was used as input and output devices. The computers in this generation use machine code as the programming language.
So from this slide, you need to study first generation. What is it used? Vacuum tubes. Okay. Then which language? Machine code. And what is the operating system used? Batch processing operating system. And example, you can write either ENIAC or EDVAC. Suppose the question is like, what are the different generations of computer? If it is coming as for as an essay question, and we have to write only these many points related to this. To study now itself. So let's move to the next one. Make now the first generation. What is it?
The first generation computer was used in 1940 to 56, and it is the vacuum tubes. And the batch processing was the operating system. Examples: Univac 1, Edwick. Then paper cuts, paper tape, magnetic, and magnets were used as the
used to input, give instructions to the computer. Okay. Okay, Meghna,
yes, ma'am.
okay, continue. Meghna, you can read second generation.
Second generation, 1956 to 63. In second generation computers, vacuum tubes were replaced by transistors. They required only 1 by 10th of power required by tubes. This generation computers generated less heat and were reliable. The first operating system developed in this generation, IBM 1620, IBM 1794, CDC 1604 are the examples of this generation computers. In second generation, magnetic cores were used as the primary memory and magic tape and magnetic disk as secondary storage devices. In this generation, assembly language and high level programming languages like Fortran, COBOL were used. The computers used batch processing and multi-programming operating system.
So here year is different. Then transistors. Then examples, IBM 1620 examples of operating system. Then magnetic tapes to store data. Then the language used is assembly language. Examples of assembly language, Fortran and COBOL. Okay, only this much thing, this much you have to learn about second generation. So Sharath, tell me the second generation.
Yes, ma'am.
Second
Mag
generation.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Magnetic cores and tapes were used as primary and secondary storage devices.
Then
Then vacuum tubes were replaced by transistors, and batch processing and multi-programming languages were used as programming language.
what is your video? Hmm? Good. Then who else to read? Elvina, you can read.
Third generation 1964 to 71. The third generation computers replaced transistor with integrated circuit known as chip from small-scale integrated circuits which had 10 transistors per chip. Technology developed to MSI circuits with 100 transistors per chip. These computers were smaller, faster, and more reliable. High-level languages invented in this generation. The IC was invented by Jack Kilby. This development made computers smaller in size, reliable, and efficient. In this generation, remote processing, time-sharing, multi-programming operating system were used. High-level language, Fortran second to IV, COBOL, Pascal, PL by 1, BASIC, Algol 68, etc. were used during this generation. IBM 360 series, Honeywell 6000 are some examples of computers in third generation.
So you can you have to note this point, integrated circuits. Okay. Then it is smaller, faster, and more reliable. And language used is high level language. The previous one was assembly language. The first one was machine level language. Okay. Then the different language names can learn. So Hannah, third generation.
Third generation is from 1964 to 71, and it is influenced by integrated circuits. High-level languages used in this generation.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. The fourth generation. Anthony, turn on your video and you can read.
Fourth generation. LSI and VLSI were used in this generation. As a result, microprocessors came into existence. The computers using this technology known as to be microcomputer. Highly capacity hard disks were invented. There is great development in the data communication. Fourth generation computers became more powerful, compact, reliable, and affordable. As a result, it gave rise to personal computer revolution. In this generation, time sharing, real-time networks, distributed operating system were used. All the high-level languages like C, C++, DBase, etc. were used in this generation.
So fourth generation, C, C++, Z-based language, and high-level languages. Then LSI and PLSI, large-scale integrated circuits and very large-scale integrated circuits were used. Then the computers in this technology, they're known as microcomputer. Okay. And more powerful, compact, reliable, and affordable. These are the main points you need to study, and from 1972 to 1980. So Donna, tell me, what are the different specialities, peculiarities of fourth generation?
They are more powerful and they are more reliable and affordable. And they invented many languages, programming languages such as C++, C, DBase, and
In order to develop these computers, what are the things? Is it transistor or it is IC chips?
microcomputers.
No, that is known as microcomputer. What is that thing used?
Hard disks.
No. Large scale integrated circuits or very large scale VLSI and LSI things are used. The first one, it was a vacuum tube. Second one, it was transistor. Third one, IC chips. Fourth one, VLSI and LSI. Okay. Then the fifth generation, Grishma.
Fifth generation 1980 to present and beyond. Fifth generation computing devices based on artificial intelligence are still in development, though there are some applications such as voice recognition that are being used today. The use of parallel processing and superconductors is helping to make artificial intelligence a reality. Quantum computation and molecular and nanotechnology will radically change the face of computers in years to come. Some computer types of this generation are desktop, laptop, notebook, ultrabook.
So here you need to learn fifth generation means it is 1982 present and beyond. So the systems which are included in based on artificial intelligence, augmented reality that you have learned in that last chapter, everything will come in this. Okay, so example, desktop, laptop, notebook and ultrabook. Many other developments are still coming. So even the mobile phones you can write as an example of the fifth generation. All right. You can see in all the movies, you can see the thick fonts, which is non-graphic, isn't it? It's non-graphic, only used for calling, and the size will be more, and sometimes there will be an antenna also. So when in new movies, you can see very small fonts. Even in the glass specs, you can have a Bluetooth technology. So everything is available. So everything is included in this fifth generation. So who can say fifth generation? Be told.
Fifth generation is computers based on artificial intelligence. Some they are still developing. Some of the applications we use today are voice recognition.
Examples? Desktop?
Examples of artificial intelligence are desktop computers, laptops, notebook.
See, it's not examples of AI as examples of fifth generation computer. Okay. Very good. The other one we can draw. Both are somewhat similar, isn't it? One extra thing here it is auxiliary secondary memory. Otherwise, it is same. We have seen already. We have seen ALU control units is over. Memory. There are two types of memory, primary and secondary memory. You know, secondary memory, the data can be stored even if the current is not there. It's called a non-volatile memory, non-volatile. Primary, RAM. This also we have seen the last class. Or MR, MICR, barcode reader. Keyboard, mouse, scanner, joystick. Many of you will be having the joystick to play games. Output device is called a plotter, printer, projector. There are different types of printer that you don't have to study. Just learn the names. Dot matrix printer, inkjet printer. Nowadays, everybody is using laser jet printer. Okay, cost will be high, but the speed and the number of copies and the cartridge is long lasting. But inkjet and dot matrix, you have to buy the powder, everything. And it can take only maybe sometimes it can be up to 150 pages. So you have to buy it again. Here, using LaserJet printer, you can print in one stretch the maximum number of pages in one cartridges, 10,000 copies you can print. Monitor, different types of monitors, ERT, LCD, LED. Nowadays, we are using LED. Then the next important thing, the other thing you just have to know the names only. Here comes the memory units. Reina, you can read.
Memory units. Memory is used to store the data for later reference. The smallest unit is bit, which means either 0 or 1. 1 bit is equal to 0 or 1. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. 1 nibble is equal to 4 bits. And 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 by is equal to 2 raised to 10 byte. 1 megabyte is equal to 1024 kilobyte is equal to 2 raised to 10 kilobyte. 1 gigabyte, it's giga.
It's giga.
Gigabyte is equal to 1024 megabyte 2 raised to 10 megabyte is equal to 2 raised to 10 megabyte. 1 terabyte is equal to 1024 gigabyte is equal to 2 raised to 10 2 raised to 10. 1
GB, you can read it as GB.
1 petabyte. 1 petabyte. Petabyte is equal to 1024 TB. TB is equal to 2 raised to 10 TB. 1 exabyte is equal to 1024 PB is equal to 2 raised to 10 PB. 1 exabyte is equal to 1200 EB is equal to 2 raised to 10 EB. 1 yottabyte is equal to 1224 zettabyte is equal to 2 raised to
ZB. Okay, so you have to, so you can expect a question for your annual examination as 1 nibble is equal to dash bits. Anything. 1 kilobyte is equal to dash bytes. 1 exabyte is equal to dash PB. Or that this particular thing will be missing, so you have to fill it. And another thing you have to remember, when you write B, the meaning is that it's bit. When you write B, the meaning is byte. All right. So you have to be very careful when you write. B, small letter B, bit, capital letter B, byte. Okay. Then B, K, kilo, M, mega, G, giga. So learn that now. Learn. Otherwise, you will think that you will study later. Later, till the previous day of the examination, you will think that later, then the day comes. So better to study now itself. Sharat, are you writing? When I was studying, it was only till here I studied. Because that time only this much memory was developed. Now the hard disk capacity increasing every day. The smallest unit is dash bit. 1 nibble is equal to 4 bits. I'm not asking you, you study by yourself. Primary memory. There are two types of primary memory means is a main memory, main. So Sharath, you can read what is it RAM and what is it ROM.
Yes, ma'am. RAM, random access memory. ROM, read-only memory used to store the startup instructions like booting instructions. RAM, temporary memory. ROM, permanent memory. And RAM, volatile memory. Contents are lost when power is switched off. And ROM, non-volatile memory. Contents are not erased when the power is switched off. RAM, read and write memory. ROM, read-only memory.
So there are many other things. So if the question asks what is the differentiate between the RAM and ROM, you can draw the table in the same format and you can write the answer in the same format. This has to be followed if the question is any differentiate question or what is the difference between two things. So better to do in this way and underline the main points. Here, what to underline? Read-only memory, random access memory. Okay. And what is this? ROM is used for booting purpose. And one is read only, another one is read and write. So the major differences you can underline using pencil. All right. So ROM is a chip which is used for booting the operating system, booting time we need. RAM is always we are using the working memories, RAM. One is volatile, another one is non-volatile. And only one similarity is there, both are memories. Both are primary memories. And Joe, tell me what is the difference? Everyone turn on your video. What is the difference between RAM and ROM?
RAM, random access memory. ROM, read-only memory. RAM is the temporary
Turn on your video. Turn on your video.
memory with the volatile memory. ROM is permanent and non-volatile memory.
ROM is used for?
ROM is used for booting.
And RAM is read and write. Okay, these many things you have to study. Then that's about primary memory. Even though the name is primary memory, one memory is volatile and another memory is non-volatile. Now secondary memory, and Joe, we can read.
The primary storage is not able to store data permanently for future use. So some other types of storage technology is required to store the data permanently for a long time is called secondary or auxiliary storage. Example: hard drive, USB memory stick, disk, floppy disk, CD, and DVD.
These two are old ones. Hard drive, USB memory stick, CD and DVD. Have you seen a floppy disk? Have you seen a floppy disk, children? Have you seen that floppy disk?
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, you have seen. How?
My mother's and father's wedding photos is there.
Okay. Now we can see this in museum only because nowadays no computers are using this. They don't have this floppy disk. It has a 1.44 MB size, so very less size. It can store, but it is a read and write memory floppy disk. So what is secondary memory, Amal Raj? Amal Raj.
Yes, ma'am.
What is secondary memory?
It's used to store
It is used to store data permanently in the memory. The examples are hard disk, floppy disk, CD, USB disk, etc. Isn't it, Amal Raj? Okay. So till here we have completed it, and the continuation we'll see in the next class. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.